In 1973, William Friedkin unleashed The Exorcist upon the world, and with it, a legend that has never stopped growing. Audiences fainted, vomited, and ran screaming from theaters. But what frightened people even more were the stories about what had happened behind the scenes. Over the decades, whispers of fires, injuries, deaths, and eerie coincidences have built the reputation of The Exorcist as one of the most cursed films in Hollywood history. The problems began almost immediately. In the middle of production, a mysterious fire broke out on the New York soundstage. The blaze tore through the McNeil family home set, reducing it to ashes. And yet, by some uncanny twist, the bedroom where the exorcism scenes were to be filmed remained untouched. Friedkin himself admitted the strangeness unsettled him. He brought in Father Thomas Birmingham, a Jesuit priest, to bless the set and ease the growing tension among cast and crew. But the fire was only the first in a series of dark events. Actors connected to the film began dying before the movie was even released. Jack MacGowran, who played the drunken director Burke Dennings, succumbed to influenza right after wrapping his part. Vasiliki Maliaros, cast as Father Karras's elderly mother, died in New York not long afterward. In the film, both of their characters die, and this parallel between screen and reality gave fuel to talk of a curse. The accidents piled up during production as well. Linda Blair, just a teenager at the time, endured grueling stunts. In one infamous scene where her character is thrown violently on the bed, the mechanical rig malfunctioned. Blair was tossed so hard she fractured vertebrae, an injury that would haunt her with chronic pain for years. Her mother in the film, Ellen Burstyn, suffered a similar fate. When her character is knocked across the room, Friedkin ordered the stuntman to pull her harness harder for realism. The yank was so brutal that Burstyn landed awkwardly, injuring her spine. Her blood-curdling scream in that scene isn't acting. It was genuine pain captured on film. Crew members weren't spared either. A night watchman collapsed and died suddenly. A carpenter severed multiple fingers in an accident with machinery. Cinematographer Billy Fraker reported repeated equipment malfunctions, as if something unseen was interfering with the lights and cameras. Even the sound recording system reportedly picked up strange disturbances no one could explain. The director himself seemed possessed with a reckless energy. Friedkin, determined to create genuine fear, went to extremes that bordered on cruelty. He fired guns without warning to startle actors, slapped crew members to heighten tension, and even pushed his cast into dangerous situations. Jason Miller, who played Father Karras, recalled that a priest once warned him, "If you take this role, evil will follow you." Later, Miller's own young son was nearly killed when a motorbike struck him in an accident. As the film neared release, incidents off-set multiplied. A total of 9 deaths were eventually linked to the production in one way or another, from relatives of cast members to crew who suffered sudden misfortunes. The story spread like wildfire, feeding into the film's growing aura of menace. Then came the screenings. Audiences were shaken to their core. Reports of fainting were so common that theaters hired paramedics to stand by during showings. In one widely reported case, a man collapsed, broke his jaw on the seat in front of him, and later sued Warner Brothers for damages. Other viewers claimed the film triggered seizures and panic attacks. Some even insisted demonic figures followed them home after watching. Theaters themselves developed reputations for being haunted after hosting the movie. In Rome, a screening was held across the street from a church. As the audience filed in, a bolt of lightning struck the church's cross, sending it crashing to the ground. It was impossible to ignore the symbolism. In London, police were called multiple times after disturbances broke out in cinemas showing the film. Religious groups denounced The Exorcist as dangerous and blasphemous. Preachers warned that watching the movie was an invitation to the devil himself. Friedkin only leaned into the controversy. even inviting priests to perform exorcisms in public as part of the marketing campaign. The result was box office gold, but it cemented the film's cursed reputation. The legend grew further when bizarre coincidences were added to the story. Mercedes McCambridge, who voiced the demon Pazuzu, later suffered personal tragedies so severe she blamed her involvement in the film. Actor Max von Sydow, who played Father Merrin, received word that his brother died on the very first day he was called to set. Each new misfortune, whether directly tied to the production or not, became part of the ever-expanding myth. For Linda Blair, the so-called curse never really ended. After the film, she was hounded by religious fanatics who accused her of blasphemy, some even threatening her life. Security had to be assigned to protect her during press tours. The line between role and reality blurred, and the toll on a young actress was enormous. Decades later, people still debate whether The Exorcist was truly cursed or simply an unusually difficult production marred by tragic coincidences. Rational minds point to the chaos of filmmaking, the recklessness of Friedkin's directing style, and the sensationalism of the press. But believers note that no other film seemed to leave such a trail of death, injury, and terror both on and off the set. What is undeniable is the film's cultural impact. The Exorcist became a phenomenon, earning hundreds of millions of dollars and cementing its status as one of the most frightening movies ever made. Yet to this day, it is remembered not only for its power to terrify audiences, but also for the lingering suspicion that something darker was at work during its creation. The story of The Exorcist Curse remains one of Hollywood's greatest legends, a reminder that sometimes the scariest part of a horror film isn't what appears on screen, but what happens when the cameras stop rolling. Comment, like and subscribe for more haunted Hollywood stories and dark mysteries.